Today I'm going to talk about kind of a unique experience I had this past week at Thanksgiving in Richmond, Virginia at the Ravenchase escape room. This is a place that a friend had lauded to me. I'm in St. Louis, but my family's in Virginia, so I was back home for this holiday. And some of my friends, high school friends, are still back in Virginia. And this friend had gone to this escape room with his wife a number of times and said that he had a wonderful experience there. So he got together a group of friends, 9 total people, and we went to one of the Ravenchase's rooms. They always have, I think, 3 or 4 rooms that are really, apparently, really intricately and beautifully designed. A lot of effort, a lot of budget goes into these rooms. And it was absolutely worth the $20 that I paid to have this experience in this room. So I guess I want to kind of say up front that I'm going to talk about some spoilers for this one particular room, but I think this room will only be live at Ravenchase for another month. So unless you find yourself in Richmond, Virginia over the next month, you're going to miss this room. But if you ever find yourself in Richmond, Virginia, I would highly, highly recommend going to the Ravenchase escape room because it was an incredible experience. I mentioned in Tuesday's video, I played an escape room in a box game that I thought at the time was the best escape room experience I've ever had. Ravenchase, I have to say, beats it just by sheer spectacle. It was a pirate ship themed escape room, and really the budget that they put into this room was incredible. Like it was kind of Goonies themed, and it really felt like that. Like they had a skeleton pirate, they had a piano, they had a table full of gems and gold, fake gold, I'm sure, but it looked like gold. They had a beautiful chandelier. They had all these different things, and the room itself was constructed out of wood that looked like it would have gone on a pirate ship. And it wasn't just one room; it was 2 rooms. For the moment that we stepped into that room and we were locked in there, the entire time it felt like we were in the galley of a pirate ship. It really did. Like there was no element of the room that took us out of that experience. And the thing that I want to feature today when I talk about this game mechanism, again, full spoilers about this. Sorry, Ravenchase, if you don't want me to talk about it, but I've given people a fair warning here, is that there was a nice equal division between what I consider traditional escape room puzzles, like things where you have to figure out a code on a lock and unlock something. And so you're using clues around the room to figure out what numbers or letters to put into a padlock, or use your intuition to find a key to open a lock. Those I consider traditional escape room puzzles, and they're good, they're solid. My mind doesn't really work that way. Like, I don't know why, but that part doesn't excite me as much, which was good because in a 9-player group, some people were really excited by that, and they were focusing on that. But the cool thing about Ravenchase is that in addition to those types of puzzles, they also had a lot of things, I would say puzzles that felt more real and tangible. And I'll give you some examples to show you what I mean by that. So for example, a little thing was there was a little token in the eye of the pirate behind his eye patch. So it's one of those things that you would only find if you were really looking around and physically investigating the space. And Ravenchase, they really encouraged this in their space. Like with all the money that they spent making this beautiful room, they encourage you to look around, to really look around, like pick up things, look at them, look under them, peel up things and move things around to see what would happen. So that was one. One was we found a sword, and you had to put the sword through the crack in the floor at a certain point. Like there was in hindsight, there was a very, very obvious marker to show us where to put it. But there was also a clue that we found that told us where to put it there. But I liked that you didn't have to find the clue to figure it out. You could have found the sword and seen like the shape of the scabbard, or the handle, not the scabbard, and then looked at the floor and said, oh, I wonder if that could go there. There was an extravagant, I forget the term now, the wheel that you turn to steer a ship. And it was big. Like they clearly featured it. We knew there was something there, and we had to solve a puzzle to figure out how to move it. So that was kind of tied to a puzzle, but we maybe could have figured that out without actually doing the puzzle. There were 3 different rooms. There was one room, and then we had to get out of that room to get into another room, and then within that room we had to do something to move an entire table through some complex gear system that was unseen to us. We had to, that was when I slotted the sword in the floor. This entire table moved aside, revealing kind of another hidden, a smaller room. So that was cool. There was a thing where we had to put our hands together and link across a room to touch two things that, in hindsight, we probably could have looked at them and figured out, oh, we need to do this. But it took us a lot of puzzles to do it. There was a lock that had, what was the other one? We had a lock that had little gems on it. Yeah, this was actually one of my favorites. And we had to find the gems that corresponded with this lock. And so again, that was one where you didn't really need to read a clue or solve a riddle to do. You just had to look at that lock and see, okay, there are gems on here. Where can I find gems in this room? Anyway, I could go on. There were so many puzzles in this room that I love the variety of it. But I really liked just that physical immersion in the room, that you could participate fully in this room without having to get in a puzzle mindset, but rather like an investigatory mindset, which was very much the mindset that I was in. I wanted to explore this beautiful Goonies pirate ship and physically find these things that matched up with other things. That to me was really, really cool. Anyway, yeah, this wasn't a particularly focused video, but it was really cool. It was a really cool experience, and I wanted to share it with you. So if you have an escape room experience, a real life escape room that maybe connects to this in some way, where you're actually like physically exploring the space and discovering stuff and putting stuff together, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Maybe put spoiler warnings just in case this room that you're talking about still exists. But yeah. Oh, and I wanted to mention one other thing real quick. This video has gone long, but they mentioned one other room that Ravenchase had done where you start out handcuffed to each other in complete darkness, which as a game designer, I'm like, wow, that's just a bold move to do, to put people in that situation. Because it's kind of a creepy, scary situation to do that to people. Probably something you want to tell people in advance. But I love that they went with that level of immersion, of starting people out in the dark like that. Like that, I can't imagine trying to find my way out of a room in those circumstances. So I really like that they did that. I can't wait to do Ravenchase again. I hope you get the chance to try it out, or to try out the comparably awesome escape room. And if you do, talk about it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks.